Hi. Oh, well, that was bound to happen. I think I'm gonna develop a brand new rule for myself. If I have a if I have a gun on me and I'm not using it, then it needs to be put away. I have crystal somewhere. I don't know where. I have crystal. Where is my crystal at? I know I have a bunch of it. I don't think I used it at all. This is all... Oh god, that scared me. Oh, there's a bunch right here. What's this? I want to see how this works. Yay, cool hat. I mean... I mean, it's fine. You know, like if you go outside. I mean, it's okay. I mean, yeah, I hate to say, but I feel like portable electrical power, it's just a little bit hard to achieve in this game. Maybe I'm a noob and I'm gonna admit it. Most likely that is why. But I just don't know why. I can't, not too good achieving. A thick, viscous substance that can sustain a flame for remarkably long duration. Is this a fuel? Is that an actual fuel? I'm gonna fix that. That way, if I go get it next, I don't. Absorbent subst. Where do I get absorbent substrate from? I think I can make it. If so, how do I? It should be down here. I could take, yeah, there it is. Absorbent substrate. It's okay. Crafted at chemistry bench. No, we're not making that. Yeah, I could build that, but I'd rather not. We have way too much chitin stored up in here. I think I might start stashing the chitin in pearls right here. Like the normal pearls. We have 35 right now. Oh shoot. They've eaten everything. Better go get some, luckily this thing should have some berries on it, I think. Oh, it's got a good amount of berries. Stupid fly, I'll murk you. I hate flies so much. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I don't want to promote hateful comments because I can't hate on anything on YouTube. Even if it's bad, like, I don't know, flies or scams. God, I hate flies so much. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to be racist towards flies. Oh my god. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to do that. Here's your food. Daddy didn't mean to let you go without food. Dad's just been very busy right now. There you go, good animals. Good various amounts of creatures. That Itchy is level 70. Wow. I think I might get my metal mining operation because I want to go look for black pearls, but like, you know, it's the early morning. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go look for some black pearls now. See if I can find some. Feel a bit more safe, but I do know I wouldn't do crap against a Tuso. I'd rather not go near Tuso with at least 3 megs. I have pretty decent eyes, so I should be able to see them, but I don't see any. Usually you find them, and I don't think you really find trilobites, like, way deep down. I think you find them. By the way, fair warning ahead of time, I might have to go AFK for a while because me and my dad are probably gonna move a mattress down here, which is why you probably already see everything getting all messy and crap. I already hear him laughing. I know he's about to Alright, well, cool.
A scientist and man-keen photographer, was pondering over the newly discovered X-rays.
This uranium thing I have here. I wonder if I left it out in the sun, whether it would emit X-rays. Kind of like those glow-in-the-dark stars that I have at home.
So he wrapped a photographic plate in black paper so the sun wouldn't develop them, put the uranium on the plates and left them for the day. He came back at the end of the day and developed his plates. To his delight, saw that the uranium had left a mark. His theory was right. But the French Academy of Science said, "That's cool, bro, but maybe try one more time, just in case." Becquerel went back the next day to try and repeat the experiment, but unfortunately, it was an overcast day.
Well, guess I can't do the experiment today.
A few days later, he opens the drawers and remembers that the uranium is in his drawer. He develops the plates anyway, even though he doesn't think he will see anything, as they haven't been exposed to the sun. But when he does develop them...
Holy smokes! It's left a mark! This must mean the uranium emits something all on its own.
Biology. Well, sadly I lost my shotgun, that yellow crossbow, and a scuba set because I died to a giant squid, and the berry died. But I tried to turn it into wind, and well, may or may not have a megalodon now. Yep, we got a megalodon. Hell yeah, I'm doing it right now. You wanna get on? Remember the amount of free Robux bots that would spam YouTube chats? Oh my god, I hated it. Why was that implemented? And I got one of those dolphin things, and oh my god, are they fast. They're fast as hell. Yeah, I actually tamed one, it died, and I tamed three, but then one of those died, so I'm now down to two. They're very easy. They just gotta swim up to them and feed them fish for a little bit, and they'll become your buddies. And oh my gosh, you can use them to tame megalodons. You can easily smoke a meg. I've smoked an alpha meg before. I'm trying desperately to find... Yeah. Give me a second. I'm trying to find trilobites. To no avail, though. I cannot find trilobites for the life of me. I could barely find them. It says they're common, but, like, they're not. A little sad I lost my shotgun. You can find trilobites a little bit more commonly underwater, and I'm looking everywhere, and it's like I barely find them. Obtain. Oh boy. Excuse me. Oof. I thermited my freaking chair. Hmm. I hate jellyfish. I lost a one of the itchies to a jellyfish, but we can't tell the United States about this, but I found oil really deep in the ocean. Hey, what's that knocking on my door? Is that Federal agent? No. Yeah. Excuse me. I swear to God, I don't know if it's my luck alone, but I'm trash at finding trilobites. But they say they're common, but they're for me they're not. I'm noticing like that's a little small oil nodule right there. And that over there, like, look how big that one is. There's like big oil things and small ones. Yeah, I thought that was a trilobite. Oh, it is a trilobite. Crap. Let's see if we can find more nearby. Oh, really? Are you that dumb? You deserve to die for this. Where are you? You're really gonna attack Megalodon? Are you that dumb? Or Meg, bro. Just accept that. Man, I hate when that happens. When I find like one trilobite, and then I'm like wanting to find 2 or 3 more, and then there's just like none. Is that a body? Oh, it's a froggo. That's a kelp forest. I Dunk Leostius. These don't look friendly. Let's see. Dunkleosteus. Armored homie. Dunkleosteus. Temperament? Docile. Okay. So they're friendly. I don't see any Tuzzos. I want to kill these things right here. Oh my god. These drop tons of black pearls. Look at that. Damn. We got 15 on us right now. I think this is like the deepest depth you can go. I can't find anything deeper than this spot right here. Oh, those are jellyfish. I don't care what anybody says. I don't mess with jellyfish. I mean, we already saw what happened when I brought my Meg close to one. Or to like just one, and I had to get off. But let alone like a whole group of them would probably decimate the hell out of my shark. Yeah. Apparently, like the Tussos are really. Yep. Tuso theory. Let's see. The Tuso. The Tuso is a very it's a rare. So its spawn rarity is as rare as a alpha. Basically, again, English. Basically, in my terms, in English, the fact that I found an alpha Tuso, or the fact that I found a Tuso, is a little bit uncommon. The fact that it was, however, an alpha one is probably way more rare, drops really good loot, and best and worst of all, yeah. Oh my god, there's a whole ass Dunkleo. I think this is a water cave. I don't want to go in here. There's a whole ass 100 level 160 Dunkleo source standing there, like just sitting there. I don't. Wait, how am I tired? What? I. Apparently they're not really that harmful. But yeah, 160. Mike, that's already one of the highest leveled creatures I've ever seen. It would take like a lot of time to tame that homie. I got killed and my berry got. Oh my god, I just almost got stung by a jellyfish. My shark almost got stung. That was the diff. Oh god, that would have sucked. Oh, there's Ely boys. I'm not messing with eels. There's a plesiosaur chasing me. I should be able to smoke him with a freaking mag. Or outrun him. Yep, I outran him. Very bad. Dude, the fact that that Tusso was there is bad. Let me introduce you to what is known as the Tusso thesis. Tusso... Oh god, I thought that was an alpha. Oof. God, stupid. I don't know if those jellies are swimming close to me, but I'm swimming away from them. So, that's a given. Eels. I've seen a video of the eels shocking people and it doesn't look fun. I ain't gonna even begin to fight those eels. My goodness, I've heard about those little lobster thingies on the floor. I've heard about those lobster things on the floor giving Rick really good amounts of black pearls. And well, that's true. They do give a ton of black pearls. Oh, Alpha. What? That's so. I hate when people do that. Which one of my 1,258 personal items do you think I know location to? Like, everything gets lost for me. And I keep. And then let's go. Let's go. I think that's called. In my opinion, I think the mini game trophies are difficult not really because they think like they're difficulty because everybody plays like a little piece of. Oh god, you know what I mean. Everybody plays like a little wuss. They always gang on you and stuff on Minecraft mini games. It's so annoying. I feel like people try hard more in Minecraft mini games than COD, and I'm being genuinely honest. If you think it's hard, you can't platinum. If you don't have a certain trophy for Just Cause 3 anymore, you can't platinum it. Unless you hack your console. Like a few trophies actually. Adjacent. Caravan. I think a lot of things with Minecraft is very easy to do. It's just incredibly time consuming and you have to invest a lot of your time. Uh-oh. There it goes. My tank just ran out. Is that a trilobite I see? That is like again, conceptually it's easy, but in a time it's difficult. That is menacing. Okay, imagine you pull up to my home, my freaking base. All you see is, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Rexes, a few Trikes, a Stego, a few Ankleys, a damn Megalodon, like, an Argy. Like, that's just... I could seal Noob's funeral. Again, what I've seen online, I don't compare anything. I just got like a ton of silica pearls. Let's see, how many silica pearls do I got? I have 1, 2, 3. I just got like 485 silica pearls. By the way, they're really common in Bomb Ocean. Oh my god, Wyatt! I'm only 10 black pearls away. 10 black pearls away from the... I'm gonna exit. I'm gonna initiate a non-dedicated server. Hi, I'm setting up the server. Dude, one of the most dangerous things in the game has to be an alpha Tuso. I think... Here's how you tame a Tuso, right? If you think, why don't we just tame it? No, you have to let it grab something. You have to go up to its beak and feed it. Get this. black pearls. 50 black pearls per taming interval. Which, I have 50. You know how long it takes me to get a lot of those? Like a lot. They have 2,700 health plus 540 per level add on to that. Alright, I'm in the server. You shouldn't be surprised when I say this, but coppers are definitely the most common trophy. Well, I have a ton of gasoline. I could get way more oil. I'm just reluctant to do it. How much gas do I have? That's not coming from my butt. 605 gasoline. Actually, scratch that. 700 gasoline. That's a lot of fuel. That's not including the stuff I have in my fabricator, which if you go to the fabricator, I have about... I have about 208 gasoline. Hey, don't do that. Don't turn this on. If you turn it on, turn it off, because even though we got a good amount of fuel, I don't want to be wasting it. I could get a ton of fuel. Like a hell of a lot of fuel. I just don't want to spend 50 hours doing it right now. I should be collecting oil. I already found an area with a ton of oil in it. Oil's very easy for me to get now because my Meg. The Meg has awful like weight capacity. It's like 300. Oh, by the way, it's right in the bay. If you're wondering where it is, it's right there. Out of range? Are you serious? Very big notice. I'm preparing to head out. We're going to... Wow, the trike egg is so small compared to the Rex egg. Oh, hey, that's easy. Just gonna... That egg is almost as tall as you. Just gonna... Oh, no, don't! The way that the bird walks is so funny. It just prances around. I was questioning if this was my main Ankylosaurus, but yeah, I think the level 52 Ankylosaurus is the main one. Versus the level 14. And get thrown off my ARK and Tavis. Where are you? That's the Mark 1 boat. That's the OG boat. That one barely has been moved. Look how cramped it is. Look, it almost exceeds the stuff. Whereas this one, look how much better this one looks than that one. We are going to hopefully try to extract metal. Yep, we got the ankle. Now, where we're going is a little bit dangerous. And by the way, you want to know what happens when you get close to a tussle? It grabs you, and it basically, like, you're stuck. And it'll just drain the life out of you. And it'll heal itself, which, yeah, that is I experienced this one of the worst ways to die. Probably worse than the Trudon. I'm a little bit, now I'm a little bit sad that I lost my shotgun and my canteen and stuff, but because it's my first shotgun, but hey, it's not my first normal rifle. I mean, I have a I think I forgot my canteen, but I can live without it. You're gonna need it more than I. What did you do? Don't jump. If you jump, you're gonna fall off. By the way, if I could have put a wall behind there, I would have. I could. I just have to put it'd look really weird though. Mhm. Yeah, take a look at the map. Like the map on the wall. Okay, look at the area. Look at the entrance at like 40 longitude, 80 latitude. That's our entrance. Can you see your location on the map of your like hand? Yeah, you can see that that's where we're going. See that little area that has like for what? What's your co-op? It's ironic how they have to socialize. Like, yeah, you're floating. You shouldn't be harmed there. That actually it might be one of the safest areas to part out at.
Rocking out, saving multiple timelines, and doing all of it with your best friends.
Okay, so table, but if uranium is a boogeyman, then there is a Hannibal Lecter of the periodic table, and it's a couple of places to the right, and that element is plutonium.
Plutonium. has a really quite nasty reputation.
It is 5 grams, but it can kill a human.
There's a book here, Plutonium, History of the World's Most Dangerous Element.
When the human race evolved, it evolved with uranium in the environment, so we physiologically can actually deal with it to some extent. Plutonium is a man-made element. It wasn't there in the environment when we evolved, and this means we've got essentially zero tolerance to it, so that makes it quite dangerous for us.
We're at Sellafield in the northwest of England. We're at the NNL Central Laboratory. We're interested in plutonium because we need to be able to recover it from spent irradiated nuclear fuel.
You can't just use plutonium in a regular laboratory. You have to have a laboratory which is specifically designed to handle it, so it's handled safely.
It's at the point in the periodic table where it does interesting things.
There are not many elements which you can say when they were created. You can sometimes say it was discovered in 1869 or 19 whatever, but plutonium was made for the first time in 1940. The reason that it was made is that it's a radioactive element and it decays away with a half-life that depends on which particular isotope it is. If plutonium was created at some time during the formation of the solar system, it has all decayed away long before scientists ever started looking for it on Earth.
I have seen a lump of plutonium once. I don't think I can tell you where I actually saw it, but it does just look like a shiny piece of metal. What we'll see today is plutonium in solution. And that's really interesting because plutonium's got some really intense colours, and the colours change depending on the oxidation state of the plutonium as well. It's incredibly dense as a metal. You could take to it with a hacksaw, and the hacksaw blade would break before you chipped any plutonium off. The sheer density is shown by the fact that a golf ball sized lump of plutonium would be over a kilogram easily. Really quite heavy stuff.
Damn.
So here, the intention is to recover the plutonium from spent nuclear fuel. Plutonium is present in about 1%. What we do is use solvent extraction in order to remove the plutonium from the fission products in the aqueous phase and move the plutonium up into a solvent phase. And that solvent phase is a mixture of tributyl phosphate and a diluent called odorless kerosene. Here we have some plutonium nitrate, and this plutonium is in oxidation state 4, and that's the oxidation state that's extractable into tributyl phosphate. I've got two separate solutions here. They're both plutonium nitrate, they're just at different concentrations.
It is dangerous for several different reasons. It is dangerous because it is the basis of atomic bombs. The second atomic bomb, so-called Fat Man, that was dropped on Nagasaki in 1945, contained plutonium, and it was the plutonium that made it explode. It was a bigger bomb in terms of the size of explosion than the first bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. But it's also dangerous, plutonium, because it is very poisonous. Many heavy metals are poisonous, particularly, say, thallium. But plutonium is poisonous not just because of its chemistry, but because of its radioactivity. Plutonium decays radioactively by emitting alpha particles.
Yep, that'll do it.
Helium nucleus, and when that hits the cells of your body, it can cause terrific damage, and that can lead to cancer and so on.
I'm going to take some 30% TBP, but this is the solvent phase. You can see that it hasn't been mixed yet. The solvent is less dense than the aqueous phase and resides on top of the aqueous. But you'll see in a minute that that brown colour will go up into the top phase.
According to this book, there is a club, or there was a club, in Los Alamos, the bomb factory, where they developed the chemistry of plutonium and made the plutonium bomb, of 4 people, which had rather a strange name. This says UPPU, which means your urine contains plutonium. And these are people who, through some sort of accident, had plutonium in their body. There was one person that was described called Margot, who was working with a glove box, just like the ones that we saw in the NNL labs. And he had, for some reason, a needle, and he stuck the needle through the finger of one of his gloves. And he pulled out his hand and saw that there was a tiny black speck in his hand, which was a fragment of plutonium. And although the doctors tried to dig this out, for the next 50 years, plutonium could be detected in his urine. I mean, it wasn't very high concentration. According to this, he had to provide a gallon of urine, that's 4 litres, before they could detect the plutonium, but nevertheless, he survived.
Okay, so I've got 2 samples there with plutonium nitrate at the bottom and tributyl phosphate odorless kerosene on the top. So what I'm going to do now is put them into this device, which is called a vortex mixer. So while that's mixing, plutonium's going up into the solvent phase. It'll form an emulsion, and the solvent will then start to disengage from the aqueous phase, and the 2 phases will separate out.
Plutonium is formed in the nuclear fuel of nuclear reactors. Uranium, which has atomic number 92, can be transformed into plutonium, which has atomic number 94, by absorption of neutrons. So the uranium absorbs neutrons. That is the uranium-238, the sort of uranium that does not spontaneously fission and provide the energy for the nuclear reactor.
The Hanford, Washington Active Material Production Plant, where uranium-238, the most abundant isotope in natural uranium, is converted into a completely new fissionable element known as plutonium-239.
So it's the so-called, if you like, inactive uranium isotope, but that can absorb neutrons and be transformed into plutonium.
Okay, that should be done now. Looks like an emulsion at the moment. As it separates, you'll see that the top
this
phase
will probably
is
be
now
aggravating because it's going to show all my
plutonium
stuff
nitrate
off
has now,
of the boat.
formed a chemical complex with TBP.
Uh-oh, shallow.
Planning to move? Join the 6 million families who discovered a smarter, more flexible
Oh my
way
God.
to move with
Yeah, this is going to be annoying as hell.
Okay. So here at the Trinity site in New Mexico on the White Sands Missile Ranch. That's where the site's located, and it's only open twice a year. I'll have those dates somewhere on here, but I know I'm here April 2nd, which is the first Saturday of April. That's usually when they do it for the springtime open house. But yeah, this is actually my 3rd time being here. And it's always an experience. I think everyone should check it out when they have the time or the inclination. It's pretty cool being on it. And it's always an experience. I think everyone should check it out when they have the time or the inclination. It's pretty cool being on this site. It's a pretty big piece of history. But anyway, let's get out there. Let's check out this place.
You want to take a picture, sir? All you have to do is just take it.
I'll remember that, man.
It's going to make you famous.
Make you famous.
I appreciate that.
The inside of it to catch the plutonium in case fission didn't happen. What is that? I've never seen that before.
Let's go. Your choice, Doc.
Oh my god, stupid. Get back on the boat. I hate these trees. I'm probably one day gonna make a banner trail, like you know, like you know, like kind of like how in racing games they have those like little like two posts, and you have to go right between them, and then they're like spread out almost like a track, or like an area where a track's not present. I hate this swamp, but it's the only way. It's better than using a Paraceratherium.
Alright, so I'm out here at the Trinity site entrance. This is the entrance to the gated area over here. This is where everyone goes inside. We can see that actually detonated the first atomic bomb almost 77 years ago. It's actually 76 years ago. The 77th anniversary is coming up this July. But yeah, let's go inside and check it out. And my Geiger counter running. It's got like 190 counts per minute. I was looking down the ground here. I can actually see some trinitite. So this is what it looks like. This little green rock right here.
Oh my god, I hate these trees.
So radioactive.
There's piranhas.
Yeah, I see that.
There is. Can I please attack it? There you go. Notice the only thing about the swamps is they're not the creatures right now. It's the fact that... just look. I mean, there's trees everywhere.
It's funny, these people are waiting in line to see trinitite when they could just look down on the ground and find it here. Pretty hilarious. But I guess if you don't know what you're looking for, it's kind of hard to see it. Just remember, the removal of trinitite is illegal.
After you pull the trigger can be the most heart-pounding moment of a self-defense incident. And being home with your family or spending a life.
How do I remove this?
But it's hard to know if it's legit or not.
I have no information about it. I've never tried to buy it online.
I know it's a little rough because you don't know if it's like genuine trinitite.
Well, it's going to have plutonium and uranium in it, correct?
No, the device here was a plutonium.
Okay.
So it wasn't any uranium in it. As it fission, there were small, very small quantities of plutonium that weren't consumed, didn't fission. By now, about all that's here is very small amounts of uranium-152 and 154, which have 8 and 13-year half-lives, and then cesium-137.
Ah, I hate these. I'm gonna turn it to single player.
Bulk of the activity.
What would be the reading on it?
No, what's the real?
Okay. Cool. It's pretty low.
Thank you.
It's real low.
Yeah, these are way hotter. These radium valves.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, blow your socks off.
Try it. So, for example,
So in other words, it's so big.
Oh yeah, you got old uranium mines just pick stuff up the ground. So what do you got, a gamma?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The red eye.
Okay, yeah, I got the red eye B20.
Yeah, but this is a real red eye.
Oh my god! I need fire.
Huh? No, I just do like YouTube videos and stuff. I got on tour old radium mines. Yeah, find radioactive antiques and stuff.
Charlie's an HP, and I'm an RCT, so we're just like, this is that after us. We're geeking out like the whole way. We've been kind of like moving on it.
Oh, yeah, you guys are.
Yeah. So,
That's awesome.
Wow, that's two people who are actually from Los Alamos. That's kind of strange, but pretty cool. Never know who you'll run into out here. Alright, let's go to the obelisk.
Oh, that did work. Step on fire. Oh, if you don't know, training site has this obelisk where, like, they marked where the nuke dropped. That's where, like, the center point.
So right here at this location, I'm getting around 325 counts per minute. So that isn't too bad. It's about 10 times above the background radiation. So not too bad if you're just visiting the site.
Ah! That's Oppenheimer.
I don't know, I mean, I've been in uranium mines, they're a lot more radioactive than this place. but it's a different type of isotope that's here. Because here, there's cesium-137. It's one of the longest fission products that a nuclear bomb is going to produce. That'll still be around today, 76 years after this bomb detonated. So that's pretty cool being out here, though. And a lot of people are like, "What are you going to see out here?" Well, it's more just of a historical spot. They do put up photos along the gate here to kind of show people like what the site looked like right after the blast. And yeah, it's a pretty cool place, though. You know, if you're into nuclear science or radiation or something like that, it's a cool place to come and just, you know, experience the history of it. And if you have a Geiger counter to hear it go click, click, click. So, but anyway, let's keep going. Yeah. Not bad. It's like 10 times above background radiation.
Okay. I was thinking of getting one, but you know, it's put off by the price. And
Yeah, you should get one, man.
just so that you could have.
I would. The actual number, it's the actual number right now in this spot is 339 pounds per minute.
Yeah, I could grab a picture.
Yeah.
I just had to step the camera up for it.
Alright. It's okay, I'm grabbing pictures of you guys.
We need to pay for this trip, so we need a lot of data.
Oh, yeah. I know, I make little videos about
Oh,
stuff.
yeah?
So.
What, are you on YouTube? I was watching you. Can we look you up?
Yeah. Radioactive Drew.
Oh, cool. Oh, you wait.
Yeah.
I hate this forest because it.
Yeah. I've seen it go as high as 700 here.
Here.
That's nothing. I mean, I can find stuff at antique shops that are more radioactive than this one. Uranium glass, radium watches, radium gauges. I have a whole smoke detector that is in the notebook.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Huh? Yeah, thorium camera lenses. I got some of those here.
I have a couple.
No.
This is your first time here?
Not the third.
That's cool.
All over the place here. You actually go out of the gate to the left, and there's like just stuff all over the ground.
Okay.
People get annoyed by the sound of the Geiger counter, or more like questioning it. Like, is that a Geiger counter? It's like, yes, it is.
Ah, get out of my way!
That's a nice
My
little
God, I hate
training
this.
site, the actual ground zero site. But now they actually have the McDonald House, which that's where they had the plutonium core there and assembled it for this test, and then brought the whole bomb over to this area. And so it's kind of a cool place to check out. It's not as cool as the Trinity site, you know, the actual obelisk and stuff being radioactive everywhere, but it's got a little bit of history to it. So I'm gonna cruise over there, maybe stop by this radiation tent again and harass those guys a little bit. And let's see what else we find. I'm out here at the edge of the entrance to the Trinity site, the ground zero site where the obelisk is, and you can just look down and find these little pieces of trinitite here. And it's kind of cool because there's a line over there for people to view. There are some pretty big pieces that they have in a display case right next to all like the radioactive items that they have to kind of show off and teach people about radiation, which is pretty cool. I really enjoy that they do that and try and educate people on what radiation is and what emits radiation and the different types of radiation. So it's cool. It's a really fun site to explore, and I see kids here and Boy Scouts, and I ran into those people from Los Alamos. That was pretty cool, and it's a cool site to visit. And I strongly encourage you to do, especially into atomic history.
I hate.
This is a really cool site to check out.
Dinosaur, do something! I hate. Move! Go do something! Oh my God. Stupid snake. I hate these trees so. What is it hitting? Wow, I hate you so much. I hate all these trees. Actually killed my anklo. Finally, you did something. Jesus Christ, you take so long to do something. Thank you, dick. Hope to Christ I can find their anklo. There should be somewhere on that mountain. What are you doing, dinosaurs? You're brain dead as hell. Took you that long to kill a goddamn snake. Oh my God. I hate hitboxes in this game. Hitboxes in this game are the worst of any game I've ever played. I'm barely gonna have any time to mine anything at all. Thanks for letting my ankylosaur die, dude. If these damn trees were not in my way constantly, that ankylosaur wouldn't have been peeled off and died. It honestly pisses me off, the fact that these trees just peel your thing off. I think, thank God it was the Argentavis, and it was just a ankylosaur, which I should be able to tame. I have a pretty I could tame one on the fly. Where the hell is my... Where did it die? Come on, game. You can tell me where my damn dino died. That would be very great. So I can at least get my saddle back. Where is it? Ankylosaurus, you died. Come on, bruh. Get out of my way. Ugh. The problem about the swamp is you can barely see where you're going. The T-Rex doesn't block you. How did... What? I hate these trees. These are my most... These trees... Please tell me I can... Oh my god, thank god. You got crushed too. That's how that tree got destroyed. You got crushed. Get out of my way, idiot. See, that's what I'm talking about. I tried to hit my bird and I hit my damn Rex. How does that happen? Now I have to risk getting bitten by piranhas or leeches or worse, titanoboas because one bite from a titanoboa and I'm out for like a minute. Like it. Really, two of them next to each other? Bruh, by the time I get to... Oh my god, by the time I get... By the time I get to the mining site, or where I want to mine, and I'm not gonna have time... Oh my god, I'm not gonna have any time to mine! Oh. I'm just gonna one day I know they all respawn. One day, as I said before, I'm just gonna... Do you want to... What are you? You know what? Stand still. Hitbox. Hitbox is so ass on this game. Hitboxes are so ass. He should have hit in that freaking... He should not have to get off his boat, and I have to go deal with them.
The two other times that I've been here, the weather's been pretty much the same as it is today. Really nice and cool. I know that there's a time either in, I think it's in September or August, where they also have an open house for coming to the site. But I like coming here in April. So, but anyway, it's a pretty cool place, and now I'm gonna head over
I
to
could have tamed it,
the house.
whatever.
Check it out.
I'm not in the mood to die into a baryonyx.
You guys have your buzz back?
Come on in. Got your bus pass? Alright. 4 different buses coming back and forth every 5 to 8 minutes, so you guys won't miss a bus. You guys have a great tour.
Out at the McDonald house. This is where they assemble.
Uranium mine.
Fairlife Ultra Filtered Milk makes every moment better. 30% more protein.
Hey, I am in Capitol Reef National Park, and this is a pretty cool area. These are the oiler mines over here, the oiler uranium mines. And these uranium mines were, I believe, first started in 1941, which is funny because it's actually before the whole uranium boom. But there was a lot of fighting and squabbling over these mines because in 1949 the government subsidized uranium mining, and so there was like a huge push to find this area. And this area showed like some of the most promise for decently high grade uranium. But they fought over it, and they mined other places in the park, but never this one. Never any more than what they already dug. They just sat in litigation forever, and yeah, now the mines are still here, and they're easily radioactive. Let's go check them out, see what they're all about. Okay, so behind me are the Whaler uranium mines. Now these are probably some of the easiest uranium mines to get to inside of a national park. Because right now I'm inside Capitol Reef, and all you have to do is like just take this trail from the road, which is like maybe 500 feet, to get to these uranium mines. I'm going to walk over there, show you how radioactive it is, and kind of just put the camera into the bat gate, because there's no way of getting inside of here. They've blocked off all of the mining adits around here. So, but they have bat gates, so you can actually look inside of the mines, but they kept them open just enough so bats could still roost in there. But anyway, let's go check them out.
Yep, there it is. Damn.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it goes in that far. Unless there's some other little offshoot, or that's where they sealed it, it's down that direction. But as I understand it, they didn't mine this area too extensively.
There's some uranium ore right there.
Here I'm getting around 2.25 microsieverts an hour. Dental X-ray, I believe, is 5 microsieverts an hour. So if you stay here for 2 hours, you get about dental X-ray worth of radiation. So I've seen this thing go a little bit higher than 70 microsieverts an hour for exposure, and it's only this one little spot right here. So if you were to curl up to that little spot for an hour, you get 70 microsieverts of radiation exposure. But the catch is that only that one portion of your body would get that dose from the radiation coming out of these rocks. Because it's not a full body dose, it would just be like your torso or your hand or your face or whatever body part you happen to have this inside of there. So I'm just grabbing a quick gamma spectrum of the uranium ore that's inside of this rock. So I'm just going to look at the energy levels of gamma radiation coming in, and it'll tell me what elements are inside of there. Kind of a little tool I have in my pocket. So now I'm going to head over to the other uranium mines that are part of this boiler uranium mining. Or at least I think they are.
Sucks, I could have trapped it, but I'm not in the mood.
Area, the boiler uranium mining area in Capitol Reef actually encompasses 80 acres. That was under litigation for so long that they just never did any further mining than what was out here. These added, and there's like a couple more that are over here too that we can check. So what's really interesting about this uranium deposit here is that you can actually follow this line of where it looks like they were mining. It's like kind of like light colored soft stone. And you come over here, you can actually trace out more uranium that's closer to into this like spillway, this like wash.
Okay. Woo.
The spot of uranium just keeps on going down this way until eventually it just disappears into the wash. So they could probably like mine if they wanted to, if they could, into this area and just keep following this deposit of uranium. But since this is now a well-known national park, or kind of well-known, I don't see them doing any more uranium mining here in the foreseeable future. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead up to these other uranium mines that are a little further up the wash.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube.
Again, you're just advertising because people keep trying to... Okay, can they make piranhas not attack T-Rexes? Well... Oh my god, I hate piranhas. They don't even do that much damage, just annoying as hell. Why would a tiny piranha attack a giant-ass T-Rex? If I'm a piranha, I don't want to attack a T-Rex. I want to attack something like a fish.
there's actually 3 add-ins to get to. Looks like I could maybe only get to 2 of them. We'll see how the hell it goes. I can't imagine there being anything too exciting. I mean, I can't go inside any of them. But I know I'm definitely gonna get this one. And maybe the one on the very right-hand side over here. Let's see if that actually happens.
Promote it.
This wind is not helping. It's kind of a little bit of a sketchy part here. So if I don't film out all of it, don't cry too hard about it. Getting a little closer. This crumbly rock is some of like the worst stuff to encounter. It's just like super unpredictable. Yeah.
Imagine like going to that park and then finding like a radiation site behind that grate.
Made it. That was it's just kind of a shaky climb. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's really easy. Yeah. Try doing it one-handed and carrying the camera. Yeah, I know. Oh, it's really easy. Yeah. Try doing it one-handed and carrying camera. This one doesn't appear to be very radioactive. Not like the lower one. Alright, now it's time to make my way back down. This is gonna be a little more tricky. Usually going up is a little easier than going down, in my experience. With that said, I probably won't showcase it. Oh. Yeah, that's fun. Woo. Alright, time to get up there. But this time,
Alright, nerd.
I'm just gonna teleport. Is that easier?
I hate how slow these rafts rotate. I think one of these times, I'm surprised I've not done this yet, but I'm... Oh. You know, I have a better
You
idea.
can see towards the back of this app.
Okay, if I hug this, there it is. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, that's where I need to go. I'm really close. Oh, I see. I can hug it. I could probably hug this shore and get back, but I'm just going deep into the swamp, which puts me in more danger and is taking longer to travel and is more complicated to travel. There's a few rocks here. Some of them are breakable, some not. Like these look breakable right here. Yeah, like those are breakable. Fuck. We're almost there.
It might have been hitting that really dark colored uranium ore. Maybe. Hard to tell back here. Not radioactive for this one either.
Not compared to the lower mine.
Man, it's wind. Kind of my greatest enemy making these videos. Wind is one of them. Well, I hope you enjoyed a look at the Capitol Reef National Park boiler uranium mines. These are pretty cool. I wouldn't really suggest coming up to these upper ones. These are pretty difficult to get to. The lower one is much more accessible. You can just pull right up there, park, and walk about 500 feet, and you're there at the uranium mine. So I think Radicode was talking in this video. If you're looking to pick from a Radicode 102, I was using the 101 in this video, but I use the 102 all the time. I carry it around with me in my pocket just to let me know in case I run into anything radioactive. It's pretty handy. But go to the link at the bottom of the screen here, or
There you go. When I come home, I'm gonna try to travel close to the shore because that might be an easier, more effective way. Effective, safer, faster, and easier to travel. And if I do find out that it is a good way to travel, I'm going to mark it. I'm gonna put like like those giant like banners. I have a ton of hide, and I can gather tons of materials for that. You know what I have thought about? We could just pick up an Anklo and bring it to a safe spot, drop it, and then just tame it. At least with the Anklo, for a tame, it's gonna be annoying because we don't have a lot of like weight points or anything. Hopefully we find a good like leveled Anklo. At least the Ankylosaurus, we can just find one, drop it, like go pick one up, bring it over here, and drop it. I know where some Anklos are. They should be on that volcano.
Today, I am in Capitol Reef National Park.
In 1964, there was a nuclear explosion in Rhode Island. Yeah, it actually happened, but it didn't look like this. Welcome to Wood River Junction in southern Rhode Island. Today, it's known for the beautiful forests and walking trails, but some of you might be familiar with it for a darker reason. In the woods here was the United Nuclear Corporation Fuels Recovery Plant, constructed in 1963 and abandoned in 1981. is hidden away inside a nature preserve. It looks peaceful now, but back in 1964, this was the site of New England's only nuclear fatality when a criticality accident occurred at the plant. Not sure what that is? Hey, let's learn together. Before the 3 Mile Island nuclear meltdown, before Chernobyl, there was the Wood River Junction criticality accident, the location of the U.S. nuclear industry's first and only fatality due to acute radiation poisoning. This is a dark piece of Rhode Island and U.S. history, and while a small nuclear explosion in a quiet town should be more well known, it was kept quiet for decades by the company responsible. So, of course, I want to see the location for myself. After a short hike in the woods, I found the abandoned and overgrown road leading to where the United Nuclear Facility used to be. The land I'm walking on is actually in Charlestown, Rhode Island, but official documents cite the location as Wood River Junction. That's not the crazy part, though. This land wasn't even open to the public until 2016. Yeah, this entire area was fenced off for 52 years because of potential radiation exposure. Mom, I know you're watching, and don't worry, it's safe now. Okay, now before I hit you with the details, I have to add a couple disclaimers. First, this is not to be confused with my annual Narragansett nuclear incident, where I eat a dozen doughboys, a dozen clam cakes, and a gallon of chowder at Iggy's in one sitting. Second, I am not a scientist or a physicist, but I did read about this for 2 months straight and awarded myself an internet PhD in nuclear physics, so feel free to believe everything I say, okay? Here's everything you need to know. The facility, constructed in 1963, was actually pretty large. Here's an aerial photo of the plant showing the parking lot, main buildings, wastewater trenches and pools, and, remember this one, the emergency building. If you compare this to satellite imagery from today,
Whoa, it
nothing has
is
changed.
degraded.
Except
It's
the entire
gone.
facility is gone. You can still see the foundations in the area marking where it used to be. Unless you dug into the history here, you would have no idea that this was the site of a nuclear accident. There are no signs, no plaques, not even a gift shop. Let's go back to 1963 now. The plant itself was massively hyped up at the time, and it was supposed to usher in the nuclear age in Rhode Island. There were so many articles published around this time that I was starting to think that United Nuclear owned every newspaper. I thought Beatlemania was a big thing, but no. It was nuclear that was sweeping the nation. The power of the future. It was in the 60s that nuclear power achieved the status of a technically proven and commercially viable energy source. The science was proven, and let's be honest here, there was money to be made, baby. Normally, when you think of nuclear power, you think giant cooling towers and nuclear reactors. That wasn't the case here. Okay, then what did the plant that used to be here do? It was pretty simple. The facility was designed to recover uranium from scrap material left over from fuel element production. Here's a quick overview of what would happen here. Think of this plant as enough as 3 things: waste, the chemical solution, and the enriched uranium, or U-235, which could then be used to create more fuel rods for nuclear power plants. The Wood River Junction facility was up and running for only 4 months when everything went wrong in here. Let me introduce you to the main subject of this tragic story, Robert Peabody. A resident of Charlestown, Rhode Island, Robert was 37 years old, married with 9 children. He worked by day as an auto mechanic.
I think I've heard that name, Peabody. That guy got hit with tons of radiation.
Engineer or scientist, he was a technician, so he did basic tasks in the uranium recovery process. I mean, he didn't have an internet PhD like me, but he was no dummy. He followed the rules and logged all of the actions as required, which is why what happened next was so tragic. The day before the criticality, July 23rd, 1964, due to a buildup of waste on equipment in the plant, everything had to be shut down, disassembled, and cleaned. There was a lot to go through, a lot to clean up, and by the end of the day, there was a collection of what's called geometrically safe containers, some filled with highly concentrated uranium solution, and some filled with very weak solution. These long containers were specifically designed for this, though. They ensured that even high concentrations of uranium wouldn't cause an explosion because the atoms were spread far enough apart. But if this uranium solution were to be poured into a smaller area, like a bucket, uranium atoms would all be closer to each other, the material would go critical, producing an uncontrolled atomic reaction called a nuclear excursion, or what I prefer to call it, a huge blast of radiation. The radioactive contents of the cleanup were labeled on each of the containers, but they didn't stick well because of the solvents. Some were re-adhered to the wrong bottles or held on with rubber bands, as you can see in this photo taken at the facility later during the investigation. Some didn't have writing on the labels at all. What I'm saying is, it turned all of these containers here into a radioactive grab bag, something Robert Peabody wasn't aware of since he wasn't at the plant that day. The day of the criticality. July 24th, 1964. Here's where my internet PhD comes into play. A criticality accident is an accidental, uncontrolled nuclear fission chain reaction. Normally,
Not good,
criticality is a
basically.
good thing, since that's what happens inside nuclear reactors to create energy. But this facility wasn't a power plant, so criticalities weren't supposed to happen here, especially since they released fatal doses of radiation to any human unlucky enough to be near it unshielded. Remember the uranium-235 reclaiming process from earlier? I said there were three things left over: waste, chemical solution, and uranium. Well, the cleaning fluid itself, trichloroethane, would pick up small amounts of uranium during the process, so then that would need to be washed to squeeze out a bit more U-235. Unfortunately, this trichloroethane was stored in identical bottles to the nuclear grab bag from the day before. Robert Peabody's job on July 24th was to process the dirty trichloroethane in a giant mixer on the 3rd floor of the factory.
I thought that was a Giga.
This is the exact mixer. It's like a giant milkshake machine. He would dump in the contents of the bottle, flip on the mixer, and let the oils, uranium, and cleaning solution all separate.
Yeah, I'm not resting
Easy,
now.
right? Except Robert hadn't grabbed a container of trichloroethane. In the mix-up from the day before, he actually grabbed a bottle of a very high concentration of enriched uranium. Not knowing the mistake, because the label had fallen off the container, he poured the contents in, condensing the uranium atoms together and causing a nuclear reaction, and a very small explosion. A flash of blue light emanated from the mixing vat, which erupted in
Yup, you're dead. That's automatically a death right there.
The reaction knocked Peabody to the floor, splashing him with radioactive liquid and exposing him to a fatal radiation dose. How much radiation? Robert received 100 grays of exposure.
Jesus Christ.
To kill you. Robert was hit with radiation. Robert received 100 grays of exposure, and it only takes 5 to kill you. Robert was hit with the equivalent of 700,000 X-rays at once. Alarms sounded immediately, and Robert ran out of the plant, stripping off his radioactive clothes as he made his way to the facility's emergency building 450 feet away. He was immediately sick and lied down on the floor of the emergency building, already showing signs of extreme radiation poisoning. Dizziness and disorientation, vomiting, and bleeding from the nose and ears. He was taken to Rhode Island Hospital, but with no treatment for radiation sickness available, the only thing they could do was try and keep him comfortable and wait. This is the last photo of Robert, showing his swollen hands, which received the highest dose of radiation. When his family arrived, Robert was awake and told his wife, "Somebody put a bottle of uranium where it wasn't supposed to be. Go home and take care of the kids, because I'm not going to be able to come home." So how bad was Robert Peabody's exposure? The Worldwide Scientific Review of Criticality Accidents that, yeah, I read for fun, includes every incident in history. Some of these might show higher radiation exposure numbers than Wood River Junction, but that's just for partial body exposure, like an arm or a leg. Peabody, however, received whole body exposure, arguably the worst kind, where no portion of the body is shielded. Every cell in Robert's body was hit with penetrating radiation. More than any other human in history. Radiation levels at the facility were so high that the Geiger counters on site couldn't even measure them. Robert's exact movements after the accident could be traced because he left behind radioactive footprints on the ground. The ambulance he took to the hospital had to be crushed and buried underground because it had absorbed so much radiation, and his wedding ring had to be removed because it had turned into radioactive gold. And one of the saddest parts, every person he came into contact with that night developed health problems commonly linked to radiation exposure. Due to the severity of the case, Robert would die after only 49 hours from multi-organ failure due to extreme radiation exposure. One of only 4 such deaths in the history of the US, and the only one to happen in the private nuclear industry. Robert tragically left behind a wife and 9 children. And the incident put Wood River Junction in the history books for all the wrong reasons. Back at the facility, immediately after the incident, the criticality stopped since 20% of the vat's contents had splashed out of the container, making it subcritical. The superintendent ran into the room and switched off the machine, briefly triggering another nuclear criticality as the contents settled to the bottom of the tank. Although he was back out of the room by the time this happened, he was still hit with about 1 gray of radiation. Not fatal, but not good either. The Atomic Energy Commission eventually found the company in violation of 14 safety regulations, and the plant was shut down for decontamination, but reopened in February of 1965. As a settlement, the Peabody family received only $22,000 from the United
Really?
Nuclear
Even for
Corporation,
inflation,
as
that's
the debt
awful.
wasn't insulting enough. In order to save face, the company placed the blame squarely on Robert Peabody, saying that he was accident-prone and had been involved in several
Wow.
accidents previously, providing no proof or references, then going on to say that he was energetic but does things without thinking things through too well. The company never issued another statement or contacted the Peabody family. The incident was basically swept under the rug, and business
Wow.
continued here as usual.
Typical
until
trashy American
16 years after
company
Peabody's death.
lying.
When United Nuclear closed, citing declining profits in 1980, leaks of radioactive water into the soil and groundwater had polluted the site of the plant. This put the site under the authority of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The federal government then began a multi-million-dollar, decades-long decontamination of the 1,100-acre site. A 1979 aerial survey found radiation exposure rates in the area to be consistent with natural background radiation, except directly over the facility, so it remained empty and closed to the public in the following years. The plant was abandoned here for over a decade until it was demolished in 1994, leaving almost no trace of the history here. Fortunately, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission declared the site safe in October 1995. In 2011, state and federal officials determined no further cleanup action was required. Today, there are currently no nuclear fuels reprocessing plants in New England, and there is still no treatment available for extreme radiation poisoning. It's strange visiting this completely nondescript place in the woods of Rhode Island, knowing what happened here, and the role it played in the history of nuclear energy in America. When you search for nuclear accidents around the world, Wood River Junction appears on the same lists as Chernobyl. Fortunately, the land here has become something beautiful, with public trails now crisscrossing the forests. And that's probably for the best.
What should you give your employees for the holidays? Give them gift cards and prepaid money.
Thank you to my patrons for voting on this subject. If you'd like to help me choose what you would want me to cover in the next video, then you can from $1 per creation. The 24th of July 1964, Robert Peabody set out on his 5-minute commute to work. Little did he know this would be for the last time. Wood River Junction is part of Richmond, Rhode Island, which is around here on a map. The area is known for 2 things in history: a tragic rail crash and a tragic criticality incident. The former killing 11 and the latter killing 1. However much I enjoy talking about anything railway based, today we are focusing on the 1964 Wood River plant incident. The United Nuclear Corporation plant at Wood River Junction commenced operations in March 1964 and was designed for uranium-235 recovery from spent fuel rods and other waste products. The process is purely chemical, as nitric acid is used to dissolve the waste to collect the uranium.
There's so much metal on this mountain.
This is done by several cycles, partitioning off various different products. In between processes, the solutions were stored in criticality-safe vessels. Because uranium in enough quantities in close proximity can cause a critical mass, criticality-safe vessels have been adopted across the nuclear industry, and Wood River was no different. A criticality-safe vessel provides storage for processing facilities. This was achieved by geometry of the container. In the case of Wood River, this was achieved with 1-gallon polyethylene jars and 11-litre polyethylene bottles. The jars were 6 inches in diameter with a length of 10 inches, and the bottles were 5 inches in diameter and 4 feet long. The geometry of the storage containers allowed the largest amount of solution to be stored, but were long enough to prevent criticality, as the U-235 was not physically compact. To prevent the uranium becoming a critical mass from multiple containers stored close to one another, the bottles and jars were placed in a
That's
special
a level
rack.
1. Yeah,
The
it
rack
is.
was designed that each container was 24 inches centre to centre, and 10 portable safe carts were used for transporting bottles. Controls on the safe
At least I can do this. I can tame them wherever I want. I can tame them inside the volcano. I can tame them on Carnival Island. I can tame them wherever I want.
However, workers thought of these controls as a hindrance rather than what they really were, which was
It's okay,
the same
buddy.
for everyone.
You're about to be put to sleep. Like, you're about to get knocked out. But I can assure you, hopefully we're going to become good friends.
We'll come back to the ramifications of this type of thinking later. In July 1964, the plant was just 4 months old and solid production hadn't been delivered. Instead, Wood River was processing liquid uranium waste called pickled liquor. The new plant hadn't got off to a great start, as a black goo-like substance had started to plague the processing equipment. The plant machinery was shut down and disassembled for repairs and cleaning of the black substance in the week leading up to the 24th of July. Because of this, various levels of concentrated uranium were stored in the storage bottles. During normal operation, waste with smaller amounts of uranium were recovered from hand agitation with a sodium carbonate solution, or trichlorophane. However, this proved to be time-consuming and inefficient. The method used shaking the bottles for 20 minutes to separate the uranium from the rest of the mixture. The trichlorophane contaminated solution was stored in the same types of vessel as the higher concentrations of uranium taken from the plant machinery, and this led to confusion.
Did they even color? They did? Do they even color these things differently? Like, tell which ones are which?
Labels were made up to show what was in each bottle, though some labels had fallen off and had been reattached with elastic bands.
That
An
is...
alternative process was devised by the operators, washing the trichlorophane and sodium mixture that was less physically taxing. This involved using a mechanical mixing bowl that was intended for sodium carbonate only. It's important to point out that this mixing bowl didn't have any criticality safe geometry, with a diameter of 18 inches by a depth of 24 inches. 2 of 3 shift supervisors knew of the method and thought it would be okay as long as it was only used for low concentration uranium TCP wash mixtures, and the process did work. However, this was running on borrowed time. On the 24th, as Peabody clocked in, he was briefed on the evening's tasks. This would involve washing the uranium with trichlorophane. On the evening, only 5 members of staff were working in the building: 3 technicians, 1 supervisor and 1 security guard. Robert Peabody at 6 PM picked up a bottle to be washed and took it up to the 3rd floor, where the mixing bowl was installed. However, little did Robert know that he had picked up a bottle containing a high uranium concentration from the
That sucks, dude. One small difference sealed his fate permanently.
Upon pouring 10 litres of mixture into the mixing tank, the mass became quite critical, knocking Peabody to the floor. A blue glow emanated from the tank. He had been exposed to an estimated 46,000 rads to his pelvis and 14,000 rads to his head, a lethal dose. During the excursion, some of the solution had left the tank, setting off radiation alarms. As the mixer remained on, it splashed excess mixture onto the floor, around 20%, reducing the contents to below criticality. The vortex in the fluid created by the mixer had kept the solution subcritical. Robert left the room to go to the emergency evacuation building 450 feet southeast of the plant. Upon leaving the main building, Peabody took off all of his contaminated clothing and ran to the evacuation building naked. An ambulance was called as Robert was starting to show signs of radiation sickness in the form of cramps and nausea. A measurement at 15 feet away from Peabody's clothes showed 100 milligrams an hour. He was admitted to Rhode Island Hospital at 7:25 PM. Police and company officials were dispatched to the plant.
Oh, hell yeah! GPS!
Supervisor Smith, a plant superintendent Holthouse, re-entered the building. Upon reaching the 3rd floor, it was decided that the radiation was safe enough for a brief venture into the mixing room. The amount of uranium inside the mixing bowl with the stirrer still working was staying subcritical. However, Holthouse switched the machine off. Once the contents settled, a second, less powerful excursion began as the uranium went critical once again. However, the radiation alarm didn't react, as it hadn't been reset after the first criticality event. House made it out of the room quickly enough before the second excursion took place. After around a couple of seconds, the mass once again became subcritical as the liquid in the mixer boiled. Quickly, Smith and House drained the contents into a number of criticality-safe jars to prevent another excursion. Examination of House's film badge received around 60 to 100 rads, a high but not immediately life-threatening dose. However, Smith was not wearing a film badge because he had handed his regulation badge over to the health physicist and was subsequently wearing a foil-only visitor badge. The site was sent for evaluation, and all but one would subsequently be released and monitored by urine and blood samples for an extended period. Smith and House were considered at a higher risk due to their exposure to the second excursion and were subjected to extra medical tests consisting of sperm counts, slit lens eye examinations, blood and urine evaluation, and hair activation during the evening. However, Peabody wasn't as lucky. At the time, there was no treatment for the amount of exposure Peabody had received, and doctors could only treat the symptoms to make him as comfortable as possible. He was placed in a makeshift isolation ward. A slight improvement in his condition on Saturday was quickly overwhelmed by signs of his body shutting down at a cellular level. His right arm began to swell up, necessitating his wedding ring to be cut off. His family were told whilst visiting to only stay at the foot of his bed to reduce the risk of air exposure. On Sunday morning, Peabody's body had almost completely shut down, and by the afternoon had slipped into a coma and passed away in the night, some 49 hours after the criticality incident. Tests on his gold wedding ring and tissue samples led doctors to believe that he had received a dose of 700 grams of radiation. After a lawsuit was settled, Peabody's widow and mother of his 9 children received $22,000 from United Nuclear Corporation. During the subsequent investigation by the NRC,
That's ass. What? That's like $220,000 a day, I think. Because I read that $10 bills are $100 or $99 a day back in 1960. And that's sort of, if okay, you imagine this: like you have a spouse and they die, and you get $220,000. That is piss poor amounts of money. Like that could buy you, yeah, that could buy you a house, but that's from that's not from like just any accidental death. That's from somebody being a dumbass and replacing the uranium vials or the normal vials with like uranium vials. That like this is a preventable death.
Were raised about Peabody's ability as a technician, stating he has recently been involved in an accident at the plant and has previously been involved in 2 more. Some of these were eye accidents. The NRC charged United Nuclear with 14 violations of nuclear regulations, 8 from the Peabody criticality incident. However, the company didn't receive any fines. The NRC also stated that improper communications were implemented at the site between shift supervisors, meaning incorrect handling procedures were used. The plant was decontaminated and pressed back into service in February 1965, hiring a number of new staff in the process. And because the incident was largely considered an industrial accident, local opinion didn't change towards the site. The decontamination efforts involved nitric acid wash, water wash, and removal of tiles and paint. The waste from this was taken to a safe storage area before being disposed of. Non-removable assets such as the walls and floors were scrubbed and painted over. No decontamination of the wider area was undertaken, apart from some vehicles present at the time of the incident. As we've seen time and time again, criticality and radiological incidents stem from improper understanding of the elements being handled, and the use of non-standard procedures. Like many incidents, wood removal is completely avoidable, and if the set procedures were followed, the tragic loss of life wouldn't have taken place. United Nuclear would end up renaming itself to UNC, and would gradually split up its different processing plants. The site is now part of a nature reserve after purchase from General Electric, who had bought UNC by the nature reserve in 2001. Final clean-up efforts of the site were completed in 2014. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to get early access to videos, you can for $1 per creation on Patreon. I have a PayPal donation link if you fancy buying me a drink, and I also have Twitter.
Love Canal. Oh my god, this one. It does not sound it does not sound like that appropriate.
Thanks to my Patreons for
The
voting
Love
on
Canal
subject. If
is
you'd like to vote for
controversial
future videos,
because I
then
think
get
it's like a
early
nuclear
access to
waste
videos,
disposal
MIDI
site.
cannon for $1 per creation. I also have
Or, no, I
two
think a bunch of chemicals were disposed there, and they are
videos
building
for
right over it.
£99 per month. A
Like,
creative issue
nasty
is safe and
chemicals,
secure
too,
place
like,
to
bad
live
ones.
and raise a family. At least that is what most look for when finding a place to live. However, below one particular community, tons of dangerous pollutants sat waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, a bunch of, like, toxic stuff.
It's August 1978, and for the first time in US history, emergency funds are to be used for a situation other than a natural disaster. President Jimmy Carter declares a public health emergency in a community near Niagara Falls, and would be the first entry in the Superfund list. This would affect hundreds of families, meaning all would have to be relocated, essentially dismantling a small community. But the Love Canal disaster story started many decades before. In 1894, William T. Love began to dig a canal between Upper and Lower Niagara Falls City in New York, which is around here on the map. The cutting was intended to be used to provide hydroelectric power to his dream of a model town. Love's plans were shattered by economic difficulties and alternating current, which negated the need for locally sourced electricity. The canal by 1910 was 3,000 feet long, around 80 to 100 feet wide, and between 7 and 16 feet deep, with one end around 1,500 feet from the Niagara River. The ditch went out of use for many years, filling up with water and occasionally being used for swimming by the locals in the summer. However, the municipality decided the big ditch would be perfect for use as a dump. Throughout its use of the dump, little care was taken to the future of the land, with disposed waste lay in the canal without adequate protection to the environment. In the 1940s, the Hooker Chemicals and Plastics Corporation, looking for a new dump site, bought the canal, including the banks, and lined the cutting with thick clay. For 11 years between 1942 and 1953, Hooker Chemical dumped between 21 and 22,000 tons of chemical waste.
Sheesh.
Around
Chemical
200
waste is
trace
really
organic
nasty.
chemicals were disposed of at the
I'd
site.
rather
For
go near a
example,
place with
Linda,
radioactive waste
in
than
large
chemical
enough
waste, because
doses
chemical
can
waste...
cause damage to your nervous system.
Oh, there, where do you begin with that? Ugh.
The Niagara School Board for a princely sum of $1, and the dump was covered with soil. The Niagara School Board had been inquiring about the land as early as 1952. Originally, the chemicals company had sought to deed the land to the board for the sole use of a park. This was refused by the board, and instead the land was sold for $1 with an extensive contract limiting any future liability to the company from the waste buried below. As the housing needs in the Niagara Falls area increased in the 1950s, the now covered over Love Canal started to see development, starting off with the construction of the 99th Street School in its originally proposed location. However, after construction works had begun, some exposed waste led to the project being slightly moved, for fears of foundation issues due to the unstable ground. After the 99th Street School was completed and began teaching its some 400 students, another school for 93rd Street opened. After completion of the two schools, the committee sold off the remaining land to private and city developers for housing. Due to land being sold on, the dangerous chemicals were unknown by the new property developers. During various works in the area, including building of sewers for the new properties, the clay cap and protective walls to the waste dump got damaged. Because of the lack of knowledge by the developers of the dangers below, no contamination monitoring took place. The damage to the clay linings allowed the deadly chemicals to seep into the ground and be washed away by rainwater. During construction work on the LaSalle Highway, some of the chemicals managed to find its way into some of the houses' backyards and basements. By 1972, nearly all the houses in the area were built, with many having their backyards adjacent to the old dump site. Throughout the 1960s and early 1970s, various residents complained of strange odours, minor unexplained fires,
Oh boy.
and oil puddles.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
Between 1976 and 1977, high amounts of precipitation caused the ground water level to rise. In 1976, the
Yeah,
Niagara
don't these people know that when it rains, it can seep into the earth and it'll do all horrible things?
streets had been seeping into basements of the homes in the area, as well as seeping into storm drains leading into the Niagara River. Something was not right with the area as trees died in people's gardens and the air became hard to breathe as noxious chemicals seeped out of the canal. The newspaper sent 2 reporters to a number of pumps around the area to carry out independent testing. The results indicated a presence of 15 organic chemicals, including 3 toxic fluorinated hydrocarbons. The articles in the Gazette prompted residents to start contacting the local government, and throughout the 1970s organised protests. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation visited the Love Canal in late 1976 due to suspicions that Hooker had dumped Mirex during the area's tenure as a dump site. Mirex is a deadly chemical that has been used in pesticides.
Is that C8?
Banned. Suspicions that Hooker had dumped Mirex during the area's tenure as a dump. Environmental Conservation visited the Love Canal in late 1976 due to suspicions that Hooker had dumped Mirex during the area's
Thought that was C8 for a second. A really powerful toxic material that builds up in your body. C8, my coworker told me about that. C8 is awful.
Around the homes closest to the canal and detected numerous volatile organic chemicals, suggesting a serious health threat in the air of the property's basements. In early 1978, reporter Michael Brown undertook a door-to-door survey investigating reports of elevated health issues amongst the Love Canal community. During his survey, multiple cases of birth defects were found. Around this time, several residents' protest groups were formed. On the 2nd of August 1978, Lois Gibbs of the Love Canal Homeowners Association began to rally residents. Gibbs had enrolled her son at the local school in 1977, and he had developed a number of conditions, including epilepsy, asthma, and a low white blood cell count. Lois would become a very well-known face of the whole disaster and the community's uphill struggle to get recognition for the health effects of the wider community. In August 1978, the New York State Department of Health declared the site a health emergency. The health order suggested closing the 99th Street School, evacuating all pregnant women and all children under the age of 2. It also suggested limiting any time that residents spent in their basements and to refrain from eating any produce from home gardens. Governor Hugh Carey announced that the houses closest to the canal, known as the hazard zone, would be purchased, meaning around 239 families would need to relocate. Not long after the governor's announcement, President Jimmy Carter declared a federal state of emergency, allowing federal funds to be used in dealing with the unfolding health disaster. As a side note, Carter had a number of big things to deal with during his time as president. By the end of August, around 98 of the families had been moved on, with another 46 in temporary housing. By the time that the 200 plus families had been rehoused, the cost of purchasing the houses ran to around $7 million. The EPA set out to tackle the contamination in the area. Their plan involved a trench system to drain the chemicals from the canal into the sewers, adding a polyethylene containment around the outside of the canal, and a new, more resilient clay cap. However, the works were considered controversial as the local activist groups pushed for an evacuation before excavation policy for the wider area outside of the deemed hazard zone, which is an understandable worry as various studies and medical surveys estimated that 75% of Love Canal residents would face elevated health risks. The tensions at the work site ran into fever pitch as protesters, including Mrs. Gibbs, were arrested, although charges would later get quietly dropped.
That's bullcrap. What happened to freedom of protest?
Elevated levels of contamination, and more
This government is corrupt.
Began to try and move away. By 1980, around 710 families were being prepared for temporary evacuation. These families came from an extended 50-square block area around the dump and was funded by a second federal state emergency declaration. Some were to move only temporarily, where others moved up for good. Some were offered buyouts, where others were offered low-interest loans. Also in 1980, the US government passed the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation and Liability Act, better known as the Superfund Act. One part of the new act was that it could be retroactively applied. This meant that any company responsible for an environmental disaster could be held liable for cleanup of the waste, even though it followed US laws when disposing of it.
With Chevy Silverado and
Oh my god, break the rocks, dummy!
or you can move them with up to 36,000 pounds of maximum.
This would bring Hooker Chemical back into the picture. How it had been sold in the late 1960s to Occidental Petroleum, and this would get expensive. For the next few years, the bought-out houses began to get knocked down as residents tearfully left the neighbourhood. 2 rings of houses immediately around the canal were condemned. However, it was unknown if any more houses were habitable. In 1982, the EPA confirmed that the properties outside of the initial 2 rings of houses would be habitable again. Around this time, the EPA found that the dioxin levels at the canal were 100,000 times the toxic level for lab animals. In 1984, Occidental settled with the residents a $20 million lump sum. The lawsuit had some 1,328 named residents. This worked out as $14,250 on average per resident. All $1 million was set aside for medical funds. This was following the 1983 suit brought against the company from the government. The company would carry on paying out for years to come in the form of insurance and personal injury claims. For the remainder of the 1980s, further cleanup and remedial work would be carried out, including cleaning out the sewers and regular testing of air and soil samples. The Love Canal Area Revitalisation Agency was set up for redevelopment of the habitable areas north of the Love Canal, resulting in the new Black Creek Village, consisting of around 260 renovated homes. About 150 acres east of the canal were sold to commercial developers for light industrial uses. The health effects on the residents were drastic, with around 33% of those tested in 1979 had chromosomal damage. Higher than the national average were reported of low birth weight children, as well as higher birth defect rates, and sadly, higher miscarriage rate. Reports of high white cell blood counts, a precursor to leukemia, were also linked to the disaster. After 20 years of cleanup efforts, estimated at around $400 million, the EPA delisted the canal in 2004 from the Superfund list, although it was largely symbolic as the area continues to be monitored. After a 16-year court battle, Occidental agreed to pay $129 million to the government for the cleanup. In a total, around 950 families were affected at the Love Canal disaster. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can from $1 per creation on Patreon, or for 99
Alright, I'm gonna go. I need to go to work, guys. If I do come back, I might probably continue getting metal. Bye.